Module 4, Carbohydrates, Plant-Derived Energy Nutrients. In this chapter, we will discuss various aspects of carbohydrates. Carbohydrates are organic molecules that consist of carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. They are one of the three macronutrients, together with protein and fat, that are an important source of energy for our cells. Carbohydrates are classified into three main types: monosaccharides, disaccharides, and polysaccharides. Monosaccharides are the simplest forms of carbohydrates, and they cannot be broken down into smaller sugars. The most common monosaccharide are glucose, fructose, and galactose. Glucose is the primary source of energy for the human body, and is commonly found in fruits, vegetables, and grains. Fructose is found in fruits and honey, while galactose is found in dairy products. Disaccharides are made up of two monosaccharides that are joined together. The most common disaccharides are sucrose, lactose, and maltose. Sucrose, also known as table sugar, is made up of glucose and fructose. Lactose is found in milk and made up of glucose and galactose. Maltose is found in and formed from two glucose molecules and is commonly found in beer and malted grains. Polysaccharides are the most complex form of carbohydrates. They're made up of long chains of monosaccharides. Due to their complex structure, these require the most steps to be broken down by a cell. The most common polysaccharides are starch, glycogen, and cellulose. Starch is found in many plant-based foods, such as potatoes, rice, and wheat, and is a major source of energy for humans. Glycogen is the storage form of glucose in animals, and it's stored in the liver and muscles. Cellulose, also known as dietary fiber, is found in plant cell walls and cannot be digested by humans, but it provides important health benefits, such as promoting digestive health. Fiber is a type of carbohydrate that the human body cannot digest, but has an important role in maintaining optimal health. There are two main types of fiber: solube and insolube. Solube fiber dissolves in water and forms a gel-like substance in the intestines, while insoluble fiber does not dissolve in water and helps to promote bowel regularity. Both of these types of fiber are important for maintaining healthy digestive systems and have a range of other health benefits. While fiber is important for maintaining optimal health, it's important to note that it can also have some potential side effects. Consuming too much fiber too quickly can cause digestive discomfort, such as bloating and gas. It's important to gradually increase fiber intake and drink plenty of water to help prevent these side effects. The need for carbohydrates. When carbohydrates are consumed, they're broken down into glucose. Glucose is used by the body to produce ATP, the molecule that provides energy for cellular processes. Glucose can be used immediately by the body or stored in the liver and muscles as glycogen for later use. During intense exercise, carbohydrates will supply 2/3 or more of the total energy needed. Accordingly, a high amount of carbohydrates are needed for such activity. A diet low in carbohydrates will likely result in the production of ketones. Ketones are an alternative energy source produced from fats and proteins when glucose levels are low. Therefore, consuming carbohydrates helps preserve proteins from being broken down and used as fuel for the cells. Regulation of blood glucose. Insulin and glucagon. Blood glucose refers to the concentration of glucose, also known as sugar, in the bloodstream. Glucose is the primary source of energy for the body's cells and organs, and maintains a stable blood glucose level is crucial for the proper functioning of the body. To understand how blood glucose is regulated, let's start with a basic overview of the hormones involved. The two primary hormones involved in blood glucose regulation are insulin and glucagon, which are produced in the pancreas. Insulin is a hormone that is released when blood glucose levels are high. Its primary function is to stimulate cells in the liver, muscle, and adipose tissue to absorb glucose from the bloodstream and store excess glucose as glycagon, or glycogen. Insulin acts to lower blood glucose levels. Glucagon, on the other hand, is released when blood glucose levels are low. Its primary function is to stimulate the liver to convert stored glycogen into glucose and release it into the bloodstream. This helps raise blood glucose levels. Glucagon also stimulates the process of gluconeogenesis, the production of new glucose from amino acids and other non-carbohydrate sources. Glycemic index. Another important concept in nutrition to keep in mind is known as the glycemic index. The glycemic index is a measure of how quickly a particular food raises blood glucose levels after it's consumed. However, it's important to note that not all carbohydrates are created equal, as some are digested and absorbed more quickly than others. The glycemic index is a scale that ranks carbohydrates on a scale of 0 to 100 based on how quickly they raise blood glucose levels. Foods with a high index are rapidly absorbed and digested, causing a rapid rise in blood glucose levels. Foods with a low index are absorbed and digested more slowly, causing a lower and more sustained rise in blood glucose levels. Foods with a high glycemic index include white bread, white rice, sugary drinks, and candy. Food with a low glycemic index include non-starchy vegetables, legumes, whole grains, and fruits. Foods with a low glycemic index are also generally high in fiber. A diet high in foods with a high index has been linked to increased risk of obesity, type 2 diabetes, and cardiovascular disease. On the other hand, a diet high in foods with a low glycemic index has been linked to improved blood sugar control, weight management, and a reduced risk of chronic disease. Diabetes. Diabetes is a metabolic disorder that affects how our bodies use glucose, the primary source of energy for our cells. Diabetes is basically the body's inability to regulate blood glucose levels. There are three main types of diabetes. Type 1 diabetes is an autoimmune disorder in which the body's immune system attacks and destroys the insulin-producing cells in the pancreas. It's thought to be caused by a combination of genetic and environmental factors. Type 2 diabetes is a condition in which the body is unable to use insulin effectively or produce enough insulin. It's primarily caused by lifestyle factors, such as sedentary lifestyle, unhealthy diet, and obesity. Gestational diabetes. This is a temporary condition that occurs during pregnancy and can increase the risk of developing type 2 diabetes later in life. It's caused by hormonal changes during pregnancy that affect insulin sensitivity. Complications of diabetes can be serious and life-threatening. Over time, high blood glucose levels can damage the blood vessels and nerves, leading to complications such as heart disease, stroke, kidney disease, blindness, and amputations. People with diabetes are also at higher risk of developing infections and foot problems.